Like when did you take away the guitar and jazz and all that stuff? But when was your earliest recollection that you could sit back and be like, you'd hear a song and be like I get this. Because you're at a different level. When I mean people could listen to a song and jive to it and love it and sing to it, but to understand music on a level of learning it and your lifestyle and becoming part of who you are and your fabric. What age and when was your earliest recollection of just really starting to fall in love with music? And then how did that lead to where you are now with jazz and guitar and making it a career kind of thing, right? When did all that path start?
Probably middle school going into high school because I played in the jazz band all middle school, and I was like, okay, like I get this, like this makes sense. But then as I transitioned to high school and I picked up the guitar and I started playing that, I think that's when I spiritually and emotionally got connected to it because I was
So you're
like
around 14, 15?
around 14 to 15, I started to see, like my eyes opened. When I picked up the guitar, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Because I would only listen to Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, Grant Green, all these great guitarists with a guitar in hand, and I'd like play along with them. Not as good, but I'd understand what they were saying, and
Explain
I think
explain that to me. Give me
I'd
more
understand what
detail.
they were saying.
Yeah.
I It wouldn't be like, man, that was a crazy guitar solo.
Yeah.
Anyways, next. But I'd be like, whoa, so he chose to like bend to like we're in A minor right now. He's going to like the third and then he's going to the fifth. Oh wait, but this is a turnaround right now. So I see he's doing this is the flat seventh now. This is a blues note. And I'd suddenly like unlock and hear all these different things. I'd be like, whoa, okay, so Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, they both were influenced by Kenny Burrell. Kenny Burrell loves like the specific scale. And I'd like start putting things together and I'd bounce back and be like, okay, Stevie Ray Vaughan said he listened to this guitarist in this interview, and then that guitarist said, and I'd have something in my room. I'd have just like a whiteboard, and I would just write down guitarist names, and I'd be like, okay, this is like the map I must follow. And yeah, some of my best memories when I first started to pick up the guitar was just sitting in my room and just like my mom would have a curfew for guitar because I'd play so much. So then, right when I reached my curfew, I couldn't play anymore. I'd put my earbuds in, and then I would just stay up all night just listening to different guitarists, and be like, okay, whoa. So Jimi Hendrix just like went through a breakup right now. I can hear it, and things like that. But I was really just enhancing my language and starting to understand the language of music altogether in those early years, and it really solidified.
Did you have a teacher or somebody locally that had a huge impact on you as well?
I had like two teachers on and off. I had one teacher that my mom got me, and I saw him maybe like three times over the span of 6 months because he was a little expensive. And then my dad found a guitar teacher at a guitar shop that was near his coffee shop that he would frequent called Mr. Kim was the teacher's name, and I saw him maybe like once a month. But a lot of it was they'd give me the tools, but it was up to me to use them. You know what I mean? So a lot of it was done in my room, just or like in the shed, just hammering away on the guitar and trying to make my voice heard through this instrument.
How did you progress from what guitar did you start from, and how did it progress to what you're using now?
When I first said I wanted to play guitar, my parents laughed. So that wasn't the best. My mom was like, "Yeah, if you could find like the cheapest one." And at the time, I was like, "Okay, well, I need the Jimi Hendrix limited edition Fender Stratocaster, which is $2,500. So I don't have that." Um, and my mom was like, "No, we're not doing that. If you want to play guitar, find something and then prove to us that like you'll stick with it." And I was like, "That's fair." So we found this Fender acoustic guitar on Craigslist for like $15, and it was so rinky dinky, and I the tuners were broken, and like it was heavy, and it just the action was so high, the strings were all dusty. I didn't know how to change strings, but that was my first guitar, and
Do you still have it?
I still have it. I still
That's shit like that is cool.
it's a piece of history, but I had that for about a year, and I sort of think that my parents transitioned me to an electric guitar. Well, not only because I proved that I could play it, but because an acoustic guitar is loud, and I
Yeah.
would hammer away at it constantly, and I feel like I just had to tire them out. But after a year, they bought me in my first electric guitar, which was just like a PV beginner's guitar, and that's when everything was like, I was like, oh, I can do these bends now. Like I can finally hit these notes, and after that, I was just off to the races.